Hello everybody, welcome back to Firefield Junction, and today I've got another American loco review for you. Today's loco, as we can see, it's by Walthers today. We've got our first loco from Walthers today in front of us. Now, I have done a review on an American loco before. If you haven't seen it, I did a review on a Bachmann US loco. I think it was the GP40 or GP15 or something like that. I can't exactly remember what it was, but it was a smaller loco than this from Bachmann, and it was fitted with their value DCC sound and everything. And overall, I didn't think it was a bad loco. Certainly for the money, it was very, very good. Not the best loco in the world, certainly by modern standards, but certainly for the money, it was a good loco. But I obviously didn't just buy that loco by itself, because obviously living in the UK, to get models like this shipped over from the US, it does cost quite a bit of money. So I do recommend, if you're ever going to buy models from overseas, such as the United States, I recommend buying in bulk, so buying quite a few items at the same time, because in the long run, it does make postage and everything cheaper, and you will end up saving yourself some money. Which is why when I did my first order from the US, I did order quite a few different models, locos, wagons, etc., just so that in the long run, if I did end up buying those separately and paying postage separately and customs and all like that separately on each item, it would have cost me a lot more than it did buying them all together and paying one load of postage and customs and everything. So I do recommend, if you ever buy models from overseas, buy quite a few, because it does work out cheaper. And this is one of the locos, one of the other locos that I bought in that first shipment of stuff that I got from over in the US. Now, it is from Walthers, as I've already mentioned, and certainly from what I've seen so far, I have seen a few videos and stuff of Walthers, of their products, and they don't seem too bad. They certainly seem good value for money. However, this will be my first loco, certainly. I have got another one waiting to be reviewed. But this will be I've chosen to do this one first because I think I just prefer it compared to the other one that I've got. And this will be my first proper experience with one of their locos. And that's quite a big box, as we can see, probably a bit bigger than it needs to be. But it's the loco that we've got here. It is, if we look at the end of the box, we can see it's quite a long name. I say long, probably not really, but we can see it's a GE, which I think stands for General Electric or whatever. It's an ES44 loco, so that is the actual classification. The AC stands for the traction motors that this particular loco has. So I'm pretty sure the ones in real life, you could get them with either AC or DC traction motors. Going off the information that I've read online anyway, you can get them with AC or DC traction motors in real life. And this one, obviously, in real life has the AC ones, Evolution locomotives. I don't know if that's just for this model or it might be for the real thing. I think it might be for the real thing, but I could be wrong. It's in Canadian Pacific livery. I decided to go for Canadian Pacific because a lot of the stuff that I've decided to buy from the US, I want it to be more Canadian region, because I've been to Canada a couple of times, and I've just got a bit more of a personal connection with the Canadian stuff, to be honest, which is why I went for this one. And this one is number 9357. I think that's the model code 910-2023. Helical gears, powerful motor, and this one is also sound fitted with a DCC decoder, which is very, very nice. I thought, why not? Might as well go for the sound version. It's HO scale, which is 1:87, so about the same size as 00 gauge, really. Now, this particular loco, Walthers are still making it. I have looked on their website. The RRP for this particular version, although I think it's the same, probably the RRP is probably the same for all of their sound versions of these locos. The RRP is $219.98, which is £175.48. I think that is what that converts to. However, they are currently on sale on Walthers' website for $197.98, which is about £158, something like that. However, this particular one that I got came from Train World, which is where I bought all of my, which is certainly where I'm going to buy all of my American stuff from. But it's nice and easy to buy from them, especially if you're buying in the US, it's obviously nice and easy anyway. But even if you're buying from overseas, like I am, It's still nice and easy to buy from them and get it shipped over to yourself. It's not too hard. I do recommend buying from them. They do have some excellent prices as well. This loco cost me £153 from Train World, which is a really good discount, I think. £153 for a sound fitted model. This isn't just a basic sound, it's proper ESU sound. There's a proper ESU lock sound decoder inside this loco, 21 pin decoder. So they haven't cheaped out, it's a proper sound decoder. They've gone all in. And you think £153, the decoder's worth way over half that probably. Certainly getting close to £100 for just the decoder probably on its own. So the value for money already seems really good. However, we're not entirely sure yet what the loco itself is like. So I think, but yeah, certainly at the moment, overall value for money does seem very good. But anyway, let's open the box, have a look what she's like. Now the real things of these locos, the real ES44s, I couldn't find an awful lot of information on them. I know that they started building them in 2003, and as far as I can tell, they're still building them at the moment. Going off what I've read online so far, it says that the build date is 2003 to present. So as far as I know at the moment, they are still building them. I could be wrong. They could have started production of these in the last few years, but so far at the moment, it looks like they're still building them. As far as I can tell, all of them are still going at the moment, unless there are ones that have been involved in accidents and crashes and derailments and stuff. None of them, as far as I can tell, none of them have been withdrawn purely just because of old age and stuff. Any of them that have been withdrawn, it's purely been due to some sort of accident and they haven't been able to repair it or whatever. So that's not too bad. It seems that they're still doing very well for themselves. So we've got some paperwork to start with, so you might as well have a look through this. Turn it out the right way. Okay, so this looks like the parts list. So this looks like it's for, so I thought it was just like maybe the chassis then, but it is the entire loco, which is quite small. So we've got all of the different parts there, should you need to replace any by the looks of it. Lots and lots of parts, so it looks like it's a very complex loco, so that's very good. Is there anything on the other side? Yeah, but it looks like it's just sort of boring stuff. I think it's just like the servicing, operation performance, bit of history there about Walthers. Yeah, I think it's just the boring stuff mainly on that. But that's good. If you do need to replace any parts, you should be able to quite easily identify whichever one you need. And it looks like it even shows all of the screws there as well, I think. Quite a lot of screws, that's quite nice. But anyway, put that to one side. What have we got here? So I think this is more the technical stuff. Yeah, here we go. So this is the actual sound. It's the manual for the sound. So we've got the ESU logo there. So obviously you'll get this if you purchase one of the sound versions. If you do buy one of the DCC ready versions, obviously you're very unlikely to get this. But it shows all of the general stuff, I think. So we've got 4 lighting outputs, 4 horns, 2 bells, prime move with the startup and shutdown sequence, working dynamic brakes. Yeah, it doesn't seem too bad. Quite a lot of features, I think. Now, I don't think it's by default comes with like 4 different horns on these sounds. So I have very briefly taken this out of the box just to check that it works. I've tested the sounds to make sure they work fine. But I think what it means by like some of these functions like have the 4 horns, I think that just means there's 4 different sets of horns. So you can choose what particular horns you actually want by editing CVs and stuff on the decoder, which is quite nice. It should explain it a bit more on the inside, I think, if we can get inside. Which yeah, there we go. So yeah, here we go. Got a bit more technical stuff in here. Startup cycle function 8. So whether on DCC or DC power, so yeah, I think this decoder will work on DC as well. The sound will remain off when you first put the locomotive on the track. In DCC, press function 8 to begin the startup sequence. In DC, the startup sequence begins once there is sufficient electrical power on the track. So yeah, basically I think that's generally the same for a lot of decoders. And we've got the, it looks like we've got the list of functions there as well. So we've got headlights, bell, horn, coupler, crash, dynamic brake. Function 5 doesn't do anything. Function 6 is the ditch lights, manual compressor, prime mover and sound and startup. And then we've got drive hold on function 9, which is quite nice. So you can activate that, and that will basically lock the speed of the loco. And then you can control the revs of the engine just using by changing the speed setting on your controller. Basic programming. CV numbers. So it looks like this is all the general CVs, so like address, start voltage, acceleration, all the usual stuff. Resetting the decoder, sound options, alternative horns and bells. Yes, so this is what I was talking about how there's different horns. So your new Walthers mainline locomotive is pre-programmed with multiple horn and bell choices to match various prototypes. Please visit walthers.com on information on the default settings and list of available options. Be sure the index CV31 is set to a value of 16 and index CV32 is set to a value of 1 before changing a volume CV. Okay, so it looks like that maybe you have to actually go to Walthers' website to actually work out how to change the those CVs then for horns. I don't know why they couldn't just put them in these instructions. It probably would have been a bit easier, especially definitely would have made it easier for the customer, I think. But unless don't know, unless it's just where they've done it, maybe it's too complicated to put on here. I don't know. But yeah, I think it would have been nice to at least tell us how to change the CVs so you can choose the different horns and bells and everything. So yeah, don't know why they've done that, but okay. I'm certainly happy with the default bells and horns from what I can remember, because it has been quite a while actually since I actually tested this loco. It's been quite a while since I actually bought the loco as well. So there we go. Let's open up this plastic, and there's the loco there. We can see we've got some polystyrene protecting the handrails as well, which is nice because they are very delicate handrails. But anyway, let's just reach in the tray, wiggle her out. Oh my god, she is incredibly heavy, very, very heavy. Let's just be very, very careful there to not damage the handrails. Right, I've got to try and do this now. Try and get the polystyrene out from these handrails. Looks like it's going to be a bit interesting. What I might do actually is I'll do it off camera, because I think it's going to be quite fiddly getting those bits of foam out. So I'll cut ahead quickly and I'll get rid of those bits of foam, and we'll come back and we'll carry on looking at the loco in detail. Okay, so here we are. Sorry about that, but I thought it would be a bit easier to do that off camera. But there we go. I've got rid of the bits of foam protecting the handrails. It is a bit fiddly getting them out. What I recommend you do, I probably could have shown you, but I felt it was just a bit easier to do it off camera. Because the foam runs the entire length of these handrails, I recommend to get the bits of foam out, because obviously it's a bit hard to do it considering you've got the detail that sticks out here with the vents and everything. If you want to get those bits of foam out, I recommend just gently push against the foam with your finger between maybe around these two where the handrails are here, and just gently slide the foam up with your fingers to get it high enough above the handrails at the end. Then you can just gently lift out the foam from one end and just pull it out. Do that on both sides, and you can get the bits of foam out that way. Obviously it's nice that Walthers do that to obviously protect those handrails, because they are very, very flimsy handrails, because they are made of very flimsy plastic, so you need to be very, very careful with them. But getting those bits of foam out is a bit it's a bit interesting. But at least once they're out, and it's probably quite unlikely that you'll ever need to put them back in, unless you're going to put the loco back in the box, really. But it's good to have them, I suppose, if you ever want to transport the loco somewhere and you want to protect the handrails. It will be good to have those bits of foam to hand. But anyway, look at this. Just look at this locomotive. Obviously, first things first, as I mentioned earlier, is the weight. She is incredibly heavy. But obviously, being a large loco and being a large freight loco, especially being an American one, these are expected to haul incredibly long, very heavy freight trains. It's nice that we've got that weight, and I'm sure she'll be able to pull a nice long break of wagons as well. Whenever I get around to having a long break of wagons, because I haven't got many at the moment. But yeah, she is incredibly heavy, which is good. The bogies turn quite nicely. They seem to hang down a bit though, and she does have to. I have noticed when she was on the floor, she does seem to have a bit of a wobble to her, which is a bit interesting. And the bogies do hang down quite a bit, which is a bit different, I suppose. Not really used to that, but I'm sure they'll be okay. Once the loco's on the track, they'll be fine, and they turn quite nicely as well. You can even see the axle boxes there, which I'm pretty sure do turn. They do actually spin, which is nice quality feature. We've got the typical sort of KD knuckle style coupler there on the front. The lights do light up. These lights do light up, as well as the lights from the nose. We've got the handrail detail on the front there as well. Again, it is all just made of plastic, I believe, so it is quite flimsy, but it looks very good. Those handrails there, though, they are incredibly flimsy. I'm not having to touch those much to make them bend. So yeah, you do need to be very, very careful with a lot of the detail on here, especially the handrails. It would have been nice if they made them out of plastic, I think, made them out of metal instead of plastic, to make them a bit stronger. So I think quality, it is good. She is built very, very well. But those plastic handrails, yeah, I don't think they scream quality, because they really aren't going to take much to come off, I think. Really, really flimsy. So yeah, you need to be careful. But saying that, putting their flimsiness aside, they do look good. I have to admit, they do look very, very good. They're painted very well as well. They're very well applied. I can't see any glue anywhere. They're all nice and straight. I don't think any of them are warped. The cab detail is not too bad. It's not much of it, but some of it is painted. You can see it in there a bit. The general sort of stuff inside the cab has been modelled quite nicely, which is quite good. You've got the running number there as well. The Canadian Pacific branding on the side there as well looks very good. There are at least a couple of different variants of the Canadian Pacific branding, of the livery that you can get from Walthers. They've also done the one that has like the large, I think it's like the large yellow or orangey sort of a maple leaf or whatever it is, I think that's good, that you can get on the side of these as well, which I think might be the later livery. I think this livery might be the earlier one, I think, but I have memories of seeing it, which is why I decided to go for this one. But you can also buy this loco with the other variants of the Canadian Pacific branding, should you wish. The detail on the side is not too bad. I think most of it is just moulded on. However, it does look very good. The moulding is very crisp. It's very well applied. You can see the exhaust there has been done in a separate colour, which is quite nice. The horns as well, they don't look too bad. They've been nicely moulded. The detail on the fuel tank, it's quite plain, I suppose, but then again, the fuel tanks on these are quite plain, at least on one side. If we turn her around and go to the other side, you can see there is a bit more detail on the other side. We've got some tanks there, which don't look too bad. Again, got the other handrails on the other side. And then going around to the back, we can see there, we've got more lights. Those lights do work. More handrails. We've got the coupling on the back as well, obviously, because we will need it. Yeah, overall, she's not too bad. Handrails on the back there, they're a little bit bent, maybe. I think that's just a bit of warping, though, just because of the plastic. It's not too extreme, though. I have seen worse on other locos. But yeah, overall, she's not bad, is she? She is very, very nice. Certainly for the money, she is very, very good. I think the RRP maybe ever so slightly a bit high, considering how plasticky the model is. But certainly, I think at the sale price, it's definitely not too bad, especially considering, I think, especially the price that I paid, you really can't complain. £153 I paid for this loco, and it's sound fitted. That's definitely 10 out of 10 value for money, I think. I really can't complain about the value for money. Certainly very good. I think even the sale price, I don't think I'd recommend paying the RRP for this. Even though it's not too bad, I suppose. $220 thereabouts, which is about £175, or again thereabouts. It's certainly not bad value for money, I think. I definitely would recommend getting one. In the US, I think maybe it's a bit much, but certainly the British equivalent over here, it's definitely not bad, I think. Overall, definitely 10 out of 10 value for money for this loco. Why can't other manufacturers do this, especially in the UK? Why can't they produce locos of this quality for this value for money? If other manufacturers can do it, I think they should be able to as well. But yeah, overall, she's great. Very, very, very nice. So I think what we need to do now is let's put her on the track, let's listen to the sounds, we'll get her running, and we'll see what she's like. Okay, so here we are. So if we just grab the loco and put her onto the track, there's quite a lot of wheels to get lined up, which should be fairly simple. There we go, back bogey's already on, I think. Yeah, she's on. That's very, very good then. Quite easier than I expected, but there we go. So all we need to do now, I think, first of all, we'll test the sounds. Now she is going to need running in. I haven't run her in yet, so once we've tested the sounds, I'll send her off, we'll get her run in, and then we can come back and we can do a bit more testing with her performance, get a coupled up to a train, do a few more things. So first things first is the lights. Now the standard lights on the nose, which will be at each end, depending on the direction the loco is going in, just on the usual standard function 0. So if we turn those on, there we go, we can see those there. And then depending on direction, if I change direction, obviously they go off at that end, and yeah, I can confirm they are on the other end. But anyway, go back this way. Now the lights along the buffer beam here, well, I don't know if you can call it the buffer beam or not, but along the bottom here, they are on function 6. So if we turn those on, there we go, we see those, and they are quite a lot brighter actually than the ones on the nose, which is quite nice. What would be nice, I think, would be a function to allow those to flash, because on the ones in real life, I'm pretty sure you can get it so that they sort of alternate going on and off, so they essentially flash in a way. It would be quite nice to have that, but as far as I can tell, looking through the instruction manual, I don't think we can do that on this loco, which is a bit of a shame, I think, because it would be nice to do that. But well, I think we'll have to deal with it, I suppose. But anyway, the next function is the bell on function 1. So if I do that for you, it's quite nice, quite loud. Function 2 is the horn, which is very, very nice. I absolutely love that. I think it's very, very nice horn. Now function 3, if we go to the instructions, because I can't actually remember what it is. Function 3 is the coupler clash, or crash. Yeah, it does the job. Function 4 is the dynamic brake. Now I'm not too sure if this will actually sound. It might even actually be a proper function, but we'll see what it does at the moment. Okay, no, it doesn't do anything. So I think that function does actually have an actual function, so it will actually slow the loco down if and when you use it. But we can try that later. Function 5 doesn't do anything. Function 6, as we've already gone over, does the lights there on the bottom. Function 7 is the manual compressor, which doesn't do anything, so maybe we'll have to have the engine running for that. Then function 8 obviously starts up the engine. It says prime mover and sound start up. And then function 9 is the drive hold, which obviously won't do anything at the moment. So I think what we need to do then is start up the engine. So press function 8. Now I think it is quite a long startup on this, so I might have to wait a moment. Okay, I think that's it. I think she's done her start up. But let's give her a wiggle and see what happens. Okay, so she gets she idles down. Is she going to move? So she might need her speed steps altering. She might be set to 28 speed steps at the moment. There we go. And bring her to a stop. And yeah, I could hear a braking function there as well actually. There was some braking sounds. And the other way. So give her quite a bit of power. There we go. Yeah, overall, that's the first time she's ever moved, and that's very, very smooth actually. Yeah, very, very good I think. But anyway, let's get her running around that out, let's get her ran in, and then we can come back and we'll do some more of the sounds. Okay, so here we are. The loco has now finished running in. She's had a good half an hour in each direction, so she should all be ready to go now. She should have plenty of oil around the mechanism, and hopefully now we should be able to get some very good performance from her. Now, the performance to start with was very good before she'd even done any moving at all. When we first tested her, she did run very well. So the crawl to start with was very good, but let's give it another go now to see if it's still the same. So we'll try and get it going as slow as she can. Yeah, that's not too bad. Nice and smooth, nice and consistent, barely any jerkiness at all. In the other direction. Yeah, that's excellent. Really, really good performance from this loco. Can't really ask for any better, to be honest. So I think all we need to do now is couple her up to a rake of wagons and see what she's like with the train. So I've already got my rake of 8 wagons that I've got so far. Until I get some more, I've got those on the track already. So if I just bring them around the corner, just couple her up to them, and make sure that her couplings work fine. Yeah, coupled nicely first time. So that's good. So let's get her running and see what she's like with the train. Well, as you can see, she's running very well. She's coping with the rake of wagons very nicely. Although I'm sure, being a loco like this, I'm sure she could handle a lot more. But yeah, overall, she's great. She looks fantastic. She sounds fantastic. Amazing price. What else could you ask for, really? Well, overall, I don't know what to say. She's great. A fantastic loco, at a fantastic price. She's just amazing. Really, really good. Love her to bits, I think. Can't wait to get another one. I've definitely got to get another one. It'd be great to see a double heading of these. But yeah, if you want one of these, I definitely recommend you get one. They are absolutely fantastic locos. I wouldn't say they're the best quality in the world. She is a bit plasticky in quite a lot of areas. But overall, as she is, she's great. Really, really a fantastic model. And now let's have some ratings for the Walthers ES44AC locomotive in the Canadian Pacific livery with DC sound. So first, for the detail, as much as I want to give this loco a 10 out of 10 on detail, as nice as it is, I think there's just some very, very minor things that I think to stop it from getting top marks on detail. First of all, the cab. Whilst the cab is quite enclosed and you can't see it very well, I do feel that maybe they could have included a bit more detail inside the cab. There is some basic moulded detail inside there, Apart from that, the cab is quite bland, it is quite basic, there isn't much going on in there. So I just feel like maybe they could have done a bit more with the cab, but no major complaints really, because at least there is something in there to look at. There are other locos out there that I'm sure we're aware of that don't have as good a cabs as this. Even though this cab is very basic, there are other locos out there that pretty much don't have any cab at all. So at least they have put some detail in there, but I just feel like it could have been a little bit better, to be honest. Other minor things that I think stop the detail getting top marks. I just feel like maybe the underframe detail could be a little bit better. Now, yes, these locos in real life, I'm sure that people out there that are more of an expert on these locos than me, I'm sure they will agree that maybe the basicness of the underframes of these locos is realistic. But I just feel like maybe the underframe on this loco could be a little bit better than what it is. But again, it is a very minor thing. It still looks very good. There is still a lot of detail going on down there. So overall, the detail, it is very good, I will admit. There is a lot going on. There's lots of detail all over the place. The loco does look very good. The livery's applied very well. Overall, I can't really fault it, but it's just a few minor things that I think stop it from getting top marks, because there are other locos out there that do have more detail than this. But apart from that, the detail as it is very good. The performance, overall, I cannot fault the performance. The loco runs incredibly well, it's very smooth, it's consistent, it's nice and quiet. I just can't fault it, to be honest. Overall, definitely top-notch performance for this loco. Now, the quality for this loco, again, whilst the loco is built very well, for me, the only thing that stops it getting top marks in quality is the handrails. The handrails are incredibly flimsy because they are made of very thin plastic. So they are very, very flexible and they are very easily damaged. For me, that is the only thing that stops this loco getting top marks in quality. I feel like if the handrails were made of metal, then this loco definitely would be getting top marks in quality. But as it is, it's certainly not the best quality, because again, those handrails, they're very, very flimsy. They're very easy to break. Definitely would have been worth them doing metal handrails. But still, as it is, it's not too bad. They do look very good, but if they were made of metal, it definitely would be better. But overall quality, definitely not too bad. The overall value for money, I can't fault it. Just over £150 I paid for this loco, and it's proper sound fitted, proper lock sound decoder inside, decent amount of functions, even though I feel like there could be a few more. But still, as it is, it's very, very good. Overall, amazing value for money for a proper sound fitted loco. I just can't fault it. It's very, very good. Very good detail, very good performance, quality overall not too bad. This is definitely a very worth the while purchase, I think. So that's an overall score of 9.5 out of 10. Definitely, I would consider getting this loco if you're interested in your American stuff or your Canadian stuff. I definitely would recommend getting one of these if you can, because they are very, very nice locos. Overall, definitely worth the while.